Bam. We're live. Wow. That's a little too wide. Jeez, look at that. Jeez, is there anything on there you guys shouldn't see? Look at that mess. Oh my goodness. All right. Zoom it in a little. Wait. What am I doing here? God, how late am I today? Focus on. Okay. Welcome to the show. Bam, we're live. Teresa, good morning. Vladimir Trump, how are you? Vladimir Trump. God, it's so good, isn't it? So good. How happy are you? Just watching the chaos ensue. Good morning, CF Games question of the day. Good to see you. I wonder if Greg's coming today. I sent him a link. I didn't hear from him last night. I called him, sent him a link. What is this? JR never looked enthusiastic to be on any stream. That's that's for sure. Should we call JR this morning? See how he's doing. Dear JR. Dear Mr. Howe. You guys want to call JR? You guys want to? I can send him in. I can. Want me to call him? Start the show off strong. What is JR's number? Oh, there's Greg. Hey.
Sorry, I did some kind of a software upgrade.
No, that's good because I was late too. Your shirt matches your chair.
Kinda,
yeah.
Yeah.
It probably looks different in person.
You know, it's enough different that I couldn't wear these together. But I don't like matching either.
No, I get that. Like too much matching.
Yeah.
Like
for me, the Levi jacket only works with corduroys. Not with jeans.
Right.
I don't want to look like Billy Jack or
right.
You know, in the Bond-like movies, you can always see the Russian bad guys. He's got the tracksuit with the top and bottom match, and he's wearing the Adidas.
Yes.
The five guys that look like 50-year-old, 225-pound track stars on the corner.
Yes. It's a great look for the movies, though, isn't it?
Dude, it's like it's trouble.
Hey,
there are all kinds of other stereotypes I'd rather endure than the five Russian-looking guys watching me.
I did probably in the 6th or 7th grade the jean jacket and jeans for a while and the white t-shirt. I probably tried that for like a week.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We were rocking Billy Jack before there was a Billy Jack.
I haven't. Is that a look, Billy Jack?
There was something just horrid.
Billy Jack. I got a riddle for you. You ready?
You got a what?
Oh, I see Billy Jack. Oh, that was a movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that like was he before like Charles Bronson? Was he like
yeah. And of that exact same, you know, there's one of those for every era, right? For every generation, you got to have your. And then Michael Douglas played one of those guys.
Oh, I'm gonna show my kids this. He introduced Korean Hapkido to this,
and what a huge contribution that is
to the silver screen. My kids would probably love this shit. Oh, okay.
Hey, you know what I was just realizing? Like, jiu-jitsu looks stupid in film.
Yes. Except for a few of the maybe like flying arm.
No, you're an expert. Yeah, but you're an expert.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, even in the UFC, you know, the crowd will start booing when me and my boy, because, you know, I've been watching it for 10 hours a week for kids do jiu-jitsu 10 hours a week for 4 years. When it goes to the ground, the crowd boos, and me and my kids are like, wait, this is the exciting part. You know, is he going to get his pinky behind his back? It's like appreciating art. You can't appreciate art when you don't know shit about it, right? Or it's harder to.
I watched a California highway patrolman named Mario who trained at Claudio's.
Mm-hmm.
Nicest guy in the world. He was hard. You had a hard time believing that he was a highway patrolman. Don't mean anything by that, CHP. But Mario was in a purple belt weight mismatch, and this dude came running at him like a freight train.
Was Mario the big guy or the small guy?
Little guy. It was a Davy and Goliath looking affair. That's an exaggeration, but one guy had 45 pounds on the other, right?
Okay.
And it was like a US Open or something. I don't even know how the weight mismatch happened. It's just one of those Brazilian things. But this guy, Buffalo charged him, and he somehow the buffaloing worked, except as Mario went back, he had the guy's hands in his hands.
Yeah.
And a left foot back and a right knee and then foot came up, and he had the guy's chest on his foot, and as he fell back into his butt, this guy did this arc and landed on a head and shoulder and didn't move for like 20 minutes.
Oh wow.
And there was a whole discussion as to like, and here's Mario's deal. He's a judo black belt. And this guy did what judo guys do at the Buffalo Charge.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a beautiful thing to see. And I'm the only one standing there screaming, clapping, yelling for fucking Mario, right? I didn't know there was going to be complications as to whether that was cool or not.
Did he win?
I don't remember. Maybe not, or I remember it better. I've seen several unnecessary roughness kind of things in jiu-jitsu.
That shit's fully legit now. You'll see that now.
Dude, Dave Lees would be losing 19-0 and then panic and pick someone up who's doing an armbar and slam him onto the ground and knock him out. Like it would get real for him. We'd go, Dave, you're gonna lose, and he'd fucking hurt a guy. Like we don't know what happened, but his hips dislocated. You know what I mean? You were all of a sudden wrestling a chimpanzee.
People get fucking hurt out there.
That's just jujitsu that's just CrossFit in the hands of someone with an inordinate gift for physical capacity.
Yeah.
And an animal-like soul introduced to jujitsu. It really is like bringing a monkey to jujitsu class.
Right.
Scotty and Gumby on the mat said it was cheating. Just plain and simple. They thought you should have a steroid, not steroid, and a CrossFit, not CrossFit, and a CrossFit steroid divisions, to be fair.
Speaking of steroids, are you going to watch the Super Bowl?
That's so unlikely.
Do you even know who's in it? I found out yesterday.
Yeah, Taylor Swift and the other guys, the guys from Philadelphia.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm likely to miss that.
Have you been invited to a party?
There's a high probability that something's been scheduled for here.
For your own.
I'd be surprised if not.
Do you know anything about the Super Bowl? Do you know who's performing at halftime?
No.
Okay, I don't either.
Dude, I told you when Greg Gutfeld honestly didn't know who Steph Curry was, I was so fucking jealous.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, what do you have to do in your life? And I think it's like swipe up, you know? Instead of the left, right of Tinder, this is like, just don't even open it. Like, who cares what Dua Lipa did?
Right.
You think it's important because it's right up there when Trump says that, you know, we're going to take Gaza. And then I got to see in the next line, there's something going on with someone like, who is that again? Sharing internet accounts with children.
If I say to you, what's your most memorable Super Bowl? Does anything come to mind? Like,
it's when I almost fell in the storm drain in Dallas.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy. I remember that. I thought you were going to have one where like you were partying and you were 18 years old and you didn't watch any of it. And there were 10 girls.
I've never sat and cared.
The first Super Bowl when the Raiders that I ever saw was the Raiders play the Eagles. And that was memorable because I just walked by a TV set and I just started watching it. That was probably the first time I ever watched football. And then the second one was at your house. I don't know if it was last year, but I was sitting on your couch with like, I don't know, there were probably 8 other adults on the couch and then probably 15 adults around the couch and probably like 40 kids running around from your pool into your living room. You know what I mean? It was a wild situation. And it was cool and it was super familial. You know what I mean? Just families and moms and dads everywhere. And I just remember seeing Rihanna wipe her pussy with her fingers at the halftime show and then smell her fingers. And I just remember like looking around the room like, what? There's 40 kids in here. She can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, what did she just do?
Yeah, you know what though? I mean, there's some dog whistle in there. I don't know if everyone would notice.
Well, I noticed. And you're right. I don't know if anyone else noticed. You're right. Hey,
You were staring at her pussy so hard when her finger touched it, you like, uh-oh, what happened here? Oh shit. Whoa. 5 minutes later, she puts her finger up to her face and you're, yep, that's a sniff.
So you think maybe it could have been a dance move where she swiped like this and was doing some of this, and I projected a wipe and a sniff?
No, I would just suggest that there's more information here regarding you than her.
I'm not opposed to that.
Might be why I love you.
I'm not opposed to that. I think the formal term is you think I'm projecting.
No, I don't think you're doing that.
Oh, okay, good.
No, I just think you might have been, if we were to come up with a distribution of folks watching to the extent they were focused on her, interested in her vagina, I think you'd stand out there in some relatively rare turf.
On the way end of the curve.
Yeah.
All right. God, the crowd loves it when you do that. Look at this. Teresa's very happy.
They're throwing money.
Look at Sean Letterman's like, that never happened. Now I'm wearing the Rachel Maddow glasses.
God, Trump's coming up with shit faster than it can be even responded to. You know what he does? He's what he's doing exceeds the OODA loop of the fake indignation crowd. They're not the brightest people, but they put a lot of effort into their output.
Indignation means like getting upset.
Yeah,
annoyed.
Yeah, it's all theatrics.
Yeah. I think you and I were on this show 6 months ago, and I was proposing the idea of taking Gaza and turning it into Monaco too. And when he said that in the press conference yesterday, that the U.S. is taking Monaco or Gaza, I know exactly what he's talking about. And creating thousands of jobs, he's going to give that to the fucking Saudis and the UAE and the Italians, and all the richest people in the world are going to build the nicest hotels we've ever seen on planet Earth on Gaza. He is going to turn that into a development site. It's going to be Monaco too. It's going to be amazing.
He had a 48-hour cycle, I think it was, of what a shithole it was, right? There's nothing to save. And that's just the salesman in him, because you're going to get a low bid on it.
Yeah.
Here it comes. He should have known from that he was going to buy it. And he's just setting the stage for how low the bid's going to be. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes. Did you? So I watched it yesterday at 1.5 speed, him and Netanyahu. I thought it was really, really good. Do you think Netanyahu? Do you think that this has been planned a long time, or do you think Netanyahu knew that he was going to say that? I had an Israeli on here yesterday, a guy who owns 5 affiliates in Israel, and by the way, he deeply misses your leadership. And
isn't that the trippiest thing? God bless my brothers in Israel. It's amazing. And sisters.
He basically said when Trump, that would have been completely taboo to say.
That's correct.
And that when Trump said it, everyone was just kind of like, oh shit. Like the power of words. He put it out there. We're taking Gaza.
Look, listen, a few things. One is that to the extent that his adversaries think he's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And half of Americans do. It works so strongly to our advantage. So powerfully so. Okay? And you don't have to be too creative to know that if there's some big, strong guy and someone says he's out of his fucking mind, he's probably not the guy to go fuck with, right?
Right. Okay.
And so he's got that going. And you know what? There's some of that's true. Would I expect him to give to overreaction? I kind of would. I kind of get a sense of his type. I think he's quick to anger. I think he's got a lot of ego. I think he's a bullshitter and dangerous. And I like him. I think he's the man for the job. He's the man for the hour.
Right.
We got our Andrew Jackson, whose portrait hangs above his fucking desk. And I've been trying to justify him in terms of that figure historically for a long time.
Or how about Winston Churchill?
I'm sorry?
How about Winston Churchill? You think he's got Winston Churchill in him?
No, I think he's Andrew Jackson. I think he's great. In a time that needed more than Jackson was our 7th president, I believe. But I think it needed more now than ever before.
Tell me why you're saying that. What did Andrew Jackson do?
Listen to this. Listen to how reactionary I am. The reaction to him makes me a fan. The response to the suggestion that the virus came to Wuhan convinced me that's where it came from. When I ask my 7-year-old, what are you doing? And I get a nothing and a duck behind the counter, I know something.
Right.
And so I'm watching the reaction to the elimination of or choking off of USAID. I didn't even know what the fuck it did, but I'm listening to the reaction to it. And I'm like, oh, that should have been stopped a long time ago.
Right. Okay. I typed in Andrew Jackson Trump, and PBS has a Trump path to victory. Looks like a lot like Andrew Jackson.
That's interesting. I know nothing of the process, but they got him there. But I know this, that there was no one that sat opposite the desk of him. You were either an admirer or you literally were in fear for your safety. He had this suppurating chest wound from a gun battle, and it oozed stinky shit, and he had to change his shirt like 5 times a day. And if you made a crack about the fucking shirt, he might shoot you. That was the reputation.
Wow.
Challenged people to duels regularly as president. He didn't give 2 fucks. and think of what our neighbors thought. Think of the British reaction to that. They don't even want to make eye contact with that shit, Sevy. No one smart does.
I was reading about
it's like playing chess with someone who's holding a hatchet in their fucking hand.
Yeah, okay.
Who's mentally unstable. It fucks with your game.
Yeah.
Gonna take Gaza. There's several debates to be had. First of all, is he fucking serious? There's nothing in the world to suggest he is. And then there's, well, why not? And then it gets weird because it's scary. We need that like a fucking another asshole.
Occupation in the Middle East.
Yeah, a big presence there. Trump hotels.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what
He's just gonna take the Hamas dream. From the river to the sea, all Trump shit. Why not? He's a developer.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Why not? He's a developer.
Great. It's fucking hysterical. It's so much better than asleep at the switch where our futures are being determined.
What percentage of Gaza buildings demolished? I heard it was like 90%.
Oh, he says all of them.
60% of buildings, 70% of orchards, and 68% of roads have been destroyed. I heard somewhere else it was like 87% of buildings.
Hey, I've got some nutrition advice, and it covers a whole lot of topics.
Oh, good, because I have a nutrition question for you. Okay, good.
Tell me when it's cool to share that.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Mine's around EBT and SNAP. And the slippery slope.
Here's what I say.
Okay.
You can put, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to build 2 buckets. This is the 2 buckets of reality.
Okay.
And in the one bucket, I'm going to allow you to put whatever you think is the topic or the thing that matters. And I'll give you some examples. You could. And I'll say load the bucket. Seed oils and polyunsaturated fatty acids and the deleterious effects therein, right?
Okay.
microplastics, anything good, bad, or otherwise regarding vaccines.
Okay.
Highly processed foods, whatever the fuck that means.
Okay.
Put quotes all around that. Highly processed foods, pesticides.
Okay.
Put it in the bucket. Genetically modified organisms, including yourself and your fucking Moderna vaccine, you fool.
Yes. Yes.
Or the cornflakes you're sifting through looking for.
I'm very suspicious of microwave.
Fast food, junk food, whatever, like, there's people that think because it came fast, it's bad.
Okay.
And slow is good.
Can I put microwave foods in there?
Yeah, junk food, too many calories, anything, put it all in there. And the only thing I'm not going to let you put in there is I'm going to let you put sugar. I'm not going to put sugar in the thing. And sugar, you're going to put in another bucket.
Okay.
And we're going to put them on a scale. And I'm going to tell you that if the sugar side doesn't slam the other things for concern, you're part of the problem or you are the problem. And so, yeah, I've got so little interest in those other fucking things while we're walking around with the carnage that you can see. Well, I just was at a gymnastics meet and I saw a 5-year-old that weighed 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, Maggie, I go, that ain't seed oils. That's not microplastics.
Not red.
It has nothing to do with essential fatty acids. That's not a calorie issue.
Not a vaccine.
The food was junk or fast or genetically modified or the pesticides. It's none of that shit. That's not the problem. And in fact, what makes this hard is that so many of those things that I want to say, let's not look at it first. So they're problems. There's issues, very real issues. Here's the deal. This is on planet Earth. We'll never discern the impact in the presence of this grotesque derangement of metabolism that we all got. Walk around, you're looking at it in everyone. You're not going to see microplastics. It's because it's not a problem of that magnitude. Problem though it is. Polyunsaturated fatty acids. Problem though they are. I'd always kind of sensed this. I mean, it bummed me out when a guy did the zone diet with turkey and Haagen-Dazs ice cream and got perfect results, right? Kind of fucked with my head. But when I saw what Lustig had done with peds, isolating them in a hotel and letting them have every manner of fucking horrible food you could contrive except things with fructose. And they had dozens of cardiac markers improve radically. They didn't have one that didn't. Bummed him out too. He wanted Pringles. He wanted to show Pringles were no good for you. He couldn't do that. 4 million things wrong with Pringles, right? Couldn't do the damage you could with fructose. Just a scientific fact. That's just how it is. That's the lay of the land. And there's all the public health, there's all the mitochondrial health, there's all the cancer research. Everything you need is in that position. It's the fucking sugar.
There was this guy that I followed for a documentary, Pulling John. His name was R.J. Molinaire. He was an alligator hunter, made a great living, quite wealthy in Louisiana. And in Houma, Louisiana. And every morning, and I filmed with him for like 2 weeks down there, and he was a piece of steel, right? He was a 5'10", 150-pound man, just shredded. And every morning, he woke up and he bought a Coke. And when I was done filming with him every night at like 8 o'clock at night, like, a quarter of the Coke was still left. It was in a little, in the little 16-ounce bottle, and he just sipped it all day. He was on the zone, you know what I mean? And then he had shrimp. He would eat shrimp for dinner. Stayed within the limits.
Tough game to play.
Yeah. But it's your Haagen-Dazs and turkey thing, right?
Bummed me out. I wanted it to fail. Now let me be clear on this. The amount of ice cream he got it's weird to have the thing for the Haagen-Dazs that he had, and for that little amount 2 tablespoons, whatever the fuck it is, for
Yeah.
that to scratch his itch. So he was able to do something instead of like methadone, say, he just learned to use very little heroin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Enough that he could hold down jobs and be productive and get promoted. You know, it felt like that. It was a weird thing to see. Wouldn't recommend anyone try it because I think that's what everyone is trying.
Right.
I know this strategy is a failure, but I can tell you I've seen it work. Sears said it could work, and this fucking guy's caught that. Sears says the stomach's politically incorrect. That's how they talk. And I was like, oh shit. And he did. He fucking did it. Dan Buckler was the dude's name.
I want to go into this thing where you said, and if you don't see that, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're like, here's my problem. Here's my problem. I can get you grants from the American Beverage Association to stump against seed oils, microplastics, vaccines, highly processed foods, genetically modified organisms, fast food. You'll be the darling. You'll be the darling. And you say something about sugar, and they're going to call you a racist, and New York Times will write shitty things about you, and you won't. And like Forbes will call you a failure. I mean, your life will change. Everyone who's done so knows so. It's weird what happens, but that's okay. I mean, there's a handful of people. Gary Taubes. Why do you think we never hear about him? The case against sugar. It's like that. Watch out, Gary.
For people who don't know what the zone is, could you describe it just really?
Oh, it was a formulation. Here's what it is, in terms of metabolics. It's the most amount of fucking carbs you can eat and still get 90% of the enormous benefit of carb restriction. And so it sets that upper limit, and it fucking works. It's pretty cool. And you can avoid this, like, you can't eat this or you have to eat that. You get past that. So you can work with things that people are largely likely to eat. It's overwrought and fucking effective. Overwrought, fucking effective.
And what's interesting about the zone is I've never heard a single person say it didn't work. Every single person, I hear people complaining about having to weigh or whatever.
You know what? You need to not want to close the door, pull the blinds, and get a big sweat on by having to add fractions. If fractions freak you the fuck out, the zone diet will. And I know exactly what that looks like when I'm talking about it. So, and it's a 1 out of 5 people. Uh-oh.
So basically, in my Instagram feed every single day, or in the news every day, I see some shit like that, from Callie Means or Nina Teichhold, or talking about microplastics or Huberman, or microplastics, or what are the red dyes.
I've never felt less secure about public health than I do right now. I got Dale all spun up on this too. You should hit up Sarah. He saw it like the fucking light came on. Just look around, look at the landscape, see what's going on. Listen, like you're saying, what everyone's talking about. You're gonna do something positive for all those other things. You're gonna have a commission to study all of them. That, like, American Beverage Association will pay for that. And millions of dollars to study microplastics.
And you know who they're parading around? All these people, Fox News and all these people are parading around Jillian Michaels. The one, remember, she attacked CrossFit, off the carbs, off the couch. And you can't go anywhere now without seeing her talking about the importance of health. And she's completely flipped from her house was robbed. She was one of those people, she was fitting all of the liberal virtues, lesbian, adopted the black kids, all this stuff. And then her house was robbed in LA and she flipped the script.
I don't know why it is or where it comes from. For some reason, I feel like being nice to her. I think she's what she is.
Right.
She's an innocent creature. I don't I don't know who's listening to her, who's not, who would. It's not really a space I kind of roll in so much.
Would you so I mean, obviously you already did it. So, you start CrossFit in, I don't know, 2001 officially, or and the whole thing is the bottom of the pyramid's nutrition and movement, and then you stay in the game for 20 years till 2020. And that's it. Your work is done. Hey, I already told you, you have to stop eating sugar and you have to move. And if someone asks you what's the ratio, if I do want to eat a little sugar, and you say it's the zone.
I watched the public reaction and the spread of kind of the CrossFit influence and the change of the landscape and diet, just that there were competing versions of low carbohydrate, and the fact that there's a period in the popular literature, and let's just go to like space on the bookshelf at where they used to sell books. They used to have these places called bookstores, and you'd go in and buy books. They had all kinds of books there. I've known you long enough. We used to go into bookstores.
Right.
And you'd look at what was on the shelf, and we got to a point where the disruptors like Atkins in the library, in the bookstore, that became kind of the norm. And so there was like some McDougall's diet, and the dude that had the heart attack that had the bicycling nutrition Bible. There was some carb guys, but pretty much it was all carb restricted, very much so. And this is by the end of the 90s, early aughts, 2000, 2001. And so little headway in terms of like peer review, medical literature, physicians, public health. And my father was of the view that we won the war. He's looking in the bookstore. He's the one that pointed that out to me. It was Scarsdale, South Beach, and everyone's every kind of restricted carb. They're all bestsellers. Atkins was a huge seller. We all have aunts and uncles and grandparents that did Atkins and got healthy. And what I'm seeing now, having watched that, I would clearly move in the other direction. I see it within CrossFit. I see it in the rhetoric. I see it out of the CDC. I see it in everything that claims to be public health. I even hear it in people that are allies. I worry about the outcome of the most favorable. I've got someone I've supported and care a lot about, likely to end up in a powerful position. And I'm wondering how ready and willing and focused he can be. Anyone could be on the sugar issue.
Because why? What do you think pushes back on that? The machine, the money? Is it the money?
Yeah. Yeah, and the political and social and social media talents of the industry, and specifically American Beverage Association and friends.
When you say the talents, the experience they have within government to get what they need done.
They litigate brilliantly with brilliant lawyers. They legislate powerfully with enormous influence. They got the CDC, I don't know, by the balls. It's not by the balls if the dick's in your mouth, The relationships and the involvement, the interference with legislation, the extent to which they're building parks and rec centers to win votes from congressmen. It's a crazy thing. There's nothing like it.
Caller, hi.
And what's cool is like the pharma thing's very similar, but they're friends. They're in the same business.
Yeah. Caller, are you there?
Good morning, Coach. Yep. Good morning, Coach. Good morning, Seti. Seton Bieber. How are you guys?
Hey, Mr. Beaver.
I was, always a pleasure to hear Coach talk about his thoughts and philosophies. And Seti, thanks for keeping them within our community. I really appreciate it. I was thinking back to when I was younger, and the soda comment was something that kind of reflected this. When I was in my 20s, I was always the skinny kid, and it's crazy how our society talks about weight versus health, right? So, most communities, the bulkier you are, the healthier you are. And as I started gaining weight, I didn't realize that it was bad weight. So I'd never been 185. I'd never been 205. And oh, shoot, I'm 305 now. And what saved my life and would have put me in the same position, I shared with you guys about my father and his stroke. My brother, who's a year younger than me, never learned that lesson. And he ended up going from type 2 diabetes to type 1. Was 2 kidney stones in the same week is what scared the hell out of me, from being dehydrated all the time, from drinking an enormous amount of soda. And I'm talking Coke for breakfast, Coke for lunch, Coke for dinner. Man, if it wasn't for those 2 kidney stones, it would have been a different story for me.
And then you found CrossFit?
Yeah, so I call what I did accidentally got fit. I started, with LA Fitness. Then I got into jiu-jitsu. And just by moving and stopping soda, I dropped 60 pounds pretty much within the first 6 months to a year, just through some hard work.
Yeah.
I did some home workout stuff. CrossFit, I seen a bumper sticker, and it's funny because, I think a lot of people attribute the games to recruiting for CrossFit. That's not what got me there. I would do circuit style training at LA Fitness. My friend said, "Hey, have you ever heard of CrossFit?" And then I seen a CrossFit bumper sticker for our local box. And I was like, "Oh, let me go try this." And I've been hooked ever since. Where I think as I'm about to turn 50, that Coach's message really resonates is the minimum effective dose did not make sense to me in my early 30s. And I thought more was better. And then the open came, and then it's, oh my gosh, there's this thing called the CrossFit Games. I got to do more. I got to do more. I got to do more. And as a 13-year coach now, I was talking to a member today who spent 3 months out of the year last year sick. And we talked about the minimum effective dose, and we talked about the prescribed workout. So if it says 4 to 6 rounds in a 7-minute AMRAP, that doesn't mean try to shoot for 9. Like let's keep that within that range, and let's focus on nutrition. Now, when I get home, I don't think about running on the treadmill or doing anything else. Also, stress management is something I think a lot of people don't talk about. Recovery. I think about good nutrition now. I get in my sauna, things like that. But, Coach, the message for me as I'm getting ready to turn 50 and I want to continue to be moving is resonating a lot different than it did when I was in my early 30s, when the glamorous stuff and, I don't even like watching people work out anymore. It's not really what I enjoy. I enjoy seeing people leave the gym happy. And they walked in a little bit upset.
Well, thank you. Well said.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys do a lot of really good stuff. So have a good day.
Cool. And I want to add too that I'm pretty sure I'm seeing the later in life orthopedic consequences of repetitive movement.
Yeah.
I think I'm seeing that. It's interesting to me that the very people I know, let me just give you one, Dr. Will Wright. I tell you what, he ran on the trail run up at Big Sky with all the games athletes and Dave and all his friends, and was first to the top and by fat margin. And I would tell you that Will would do that to someone on foot, bike, or in the water. You're not going to be able to keep up with them. And he just had his hips replaced, And it's like, if you ask me what happened to Will, I'd have to say they wore out. I mean, if someone had asked me whose hips have seen more repetitive cycles of flexion and extension under load, if anyone I know, it has to be Will Wright. He'll outrun bike, and it's not even a triathlete. He's just like a fierce weekend sprint kind of guy, like a CrossFitter.
Yeah.
CrossFitter of the hips.
So that's interesting.
I've said like at this, I know hundreds of those. For me, that's if someone were to ask me, I'd have to tell them in all honestness that that somewhere above minimum effective dose and closer to that than games aspiration is probably where the probability is of having the highest work capacity later in life.
Yeah.
A smaller bite earlier and longer.
Well, when I first started CrossFit, I could consistently run 58 to 103 400s, but my 1 rep max deadlift was maybe 285. Now I have a 500 max deadlift and I struggle to run a 3-minute 400. I think I've gone too far. And I'm trying to bring that back a little bit.
I get it.
So,
all right, thank you.
You guys,
thank you.
You guys have a great day.
All right. Pat Lang, what did you say? I have 2 herniated discs and a torn rotator cuff since I started CrossFit. I'm okay with it. A young man I know who's not even 20 who just does bodybuilding workouts tore something in his shoulders, labrum the other day. His mom called me and was talking to me about it.
Doing what?
I'm assuming just the Arnold Schwarzenegger shit. You know what I mean? Shoulder presses and
it sounds like lateral raises.
Oh, probably. I want to talk to you about going back to the soda thing. There's this big, debate whether EBTs, SNAPs, government assistance should be allowed to use to buy soda. And, I think the U.S. government already subsidizes sugar in the United States by like $200 million a year, the sugar industry. And my first thought was like, fuck no, you shouldn't be allowed to buy soda. And I think it's over 50% of EBTs are used to buy soda. But then someone in the comments are called the other day and they're like, hey, what are you going to do when they outlaw meat? Because it's a slippery slope when you're giving people money and saying, hey, you can't buy this because it's not healthy. What are we going to do when the libtards get control again and they say you can't buy steak?
Well, that's when I get off the food stamps for sure.
Right. Do you have thoughts on that? I know that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you introduced that idea to me, slippery slope. Like, be careful. Like, it's the whole hate speech thing, right?
It's a precedent. Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on that? Would you? I think I think there's a big fight going on in your state, in Arizona, in regards to that. And what's funny is the soda industry is fighting back, saying that there's no evidence that soda. I was watching some of the testimonies causes weight gain. But I mean, I just dealing with the facts. It's like shit. That's a tough one for me. Do you have a stance on that one?
The debate's an interesting thing. What I know is that I have the capacity to coach a morbidly obese 15-year-old into a healthy physique in the space of 18 months. And I have I mean, that put me on TV doing exactly that. And there's no real mystery to it. All of the unknowns are around compliance and enthusiasm for the project on the part of the person for whom I am the docent to their better life, right? It's the subtleties of training, all the beautiful things of teaching and encouraging and motivating and all that. There's a lot of variance there. But what am I going to do? I'm going to take the fucking sugar out of his fucking diet. That's what I'm going to do. You hang around this field long, and what's the field? Caring about what people eat and the impact is and their behaviors around food. And you see the irrationality of the high carbohydrate load and the behaviors around it. And it starts with that Oreo effect of you had one, you had another, you ate the whole fucking bag, right? Mm-hmm. You get in the car and you're going to go to the store and do what? Get some more Oreos or Pop-Tarts or whatever. You don't see that with eggs or steak. Not even 800-pound people will not have 2 eggs, then 2 more, then 2 more, then eat a dozen. What they'll do to a box of fudgesicles will blow your fucking mind.
Right.
Karen Thompson came so practically perfectly close in swimming with everyone that was writing about the bioenergetics of, and I mean, from the Dick Johnsons on the unregulated production of AMP through the mitochondrial damage done in uric acid and its role and all that kind of work. I mean, there she is in the middle of everyone, and it's like addictive. She recognizes it from a prior addiction as being an addictive thing, the sugar. She had a top model that was addicted to cocaine and sugar, and people saying you're beautiful. And the mix was some heady shit, some cocaine, some sugar, and everyone tell you you're beautiful. So what? Like, I don't know what science someone needs. You know, you think we're ever going to develop a science of how to fuck your life up, or how not to? I don't think so. I don't see that.
Hey, so so basically what you're saying is if I take it and twist it for my understanding, that it's not to rework the argument. The fact isn't just to not allow EBT to buy soda because it's bad for you, but because it's addictive, and it should not be allowed to be used to buy addictive substances like alcohol, cigarettes, and sugar and soda pop. I like it. I wonder if you type in "is steak addictive?" Misfit Jim, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, is there any protein food that is addictive? Is there anything? Are they all like that? Steak, eggs, chicken. I guess you none of them. You reach a threshold.
It's entertaining to watch someone, Atkins, where they're so excited about, especially if they've been under something oppressive like a low-fat diet, but they'll just eat a stick of butter, basically, right? Yeah. You know, and that wears off within a few days. You're just like, oh fuck. I mean, you're doing the carnivore thing, right? Are you doing it now?
I'm back on it. I slipped a little bit for the month that I was on the road.
Yeah,
I'm waking up every morning eating a steak, and it works.
Yeah, but do you wake up starving?
No.
Do you ever feel hungry like you used to?
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure if 1 person in 4 knows what it is to really be hungry. And I'm not talking about Biafran fucking starving kwashiorkor hunger. I'm talking about having had 2 meals recently.
Right.
Fung says not 1 in 10,000 people can fast for, is it 3 days?
Wow. I remember talking to Thomas Seyfried and telling him that I had done a handful of 48-hour fasts, and he said that's incredible. Men over the age of like 30 or something, it's like almost never seen. That's a trip, right?
Yeah, fucking amazing. Especially from this perspective. You'd think the high alone would have drugged more people in.
You mean like the clarity and kind of like the euphoria of?
I wouldn't describe it as euphoria, but there's a heightened perception. There's an improved performance of the senses on all fronts. Like if there was ever a period to think clearly and see clearly, it's now. That hungry.
Right.
And that's some rich shit. I mean, that's good turf. No?
Yeah. 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 It's quality of life increase without doing anything.
It felt like an unfair advantage in CrossFit meetings to be a couple days in on a fast. And I remember developed the line of I just ate for the last meeting. And just sit there and watch people feed their face and talk. It's cool. The feeding thing. Fung talks about we went from 3 meals a day to 7 in a 12-year period. We went from going to the grocery store once a week to 3 times a week.
Yeah. To Amazon bringing shit every day.
Lawrence has Jim's and Pat's steaks, the Philly cheesesteak shit delivered to Oregon.
From Philly?
Yeah.
They FedEx it or some shit?
Yeah, and they separate the meat and the bun and tell you what to do. And the report is it's like damn near perfect.
Wow.
Hey, I went yesterday. So homeschool point. I've got the kids on a little bit different paths, you know. Rhett and Riley by temperament, and so that gives Riley more math and less English, and Rhett a little more English and less math, maybe relative, whilst they're trying to drive him. And so as we pull up each day, there's an assemblage of flashcards and notes and papers and projects and books, and it kind of, okay, leave it right here. Well, fat hope, it ends up in the stir pile, right? The kids crossing the table and doing what they will, showing off some of their success. It ends up later, where's the rest of my thing? Where's that book? You know, I put the pencil in that page. I had that page I was working on. And so I wanted to get a Tupperware to throw the current project, flashcards, the blocks, whatever it is, periodic chart, whatever we're working on that you had in front of you when we pull up for the day, and set that so that tomorrow I can open up and go again, right? Make sense?
Totally makes sense. Yep.
So I go to the Container Store and they don't have a container that's less than like 9 inches deep. It's all like big closet storage shit. I look in the shoebox stuff and I'm thinking of things I can make do, and it feels stupid. And I'm bummed. And so then I look up like Home Depot. They have a pretty good section. And I go there and it's not much better or worse. There's just nothing shallow that I'm looking. I need a shallow container that you could throw almost any book in. So you got to be 8.5 by 11 by an inch or so each way, right?
Yep. I was thinking 9 by 13 or something.
There you go. And a couple inches thick or something close.
Yep. 9 by 13 by 2. That's what I was picturing.
Can't do it. So I'm standing there at Home Depot a little bit bummed. This is the second place I've driven to now. And I pull out the iPhone and zip over to Amazon. I put in shallow plastic container and see the preferred one. It's 9 by 9.5 by 13 by 3. And they'll say they'll have them on the front porch by 4 a.m. A little creepy, but
yep,
good enough. They're working the night shift.
Yep.
I got them this morning before school starts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's better than getting in the, I shouldn't have gotten in the car. I shouldn't have wasted the gas, the parking, the whole thing. It feels like the death of retail. And I'm not looking for that. I wish it weren't that way.
Is this it?
No, I think it's smaller. I mean, as in narrow, it doesn't, the proportions don't look right, but maybe it is. What is that?
That's 11 by 9 by 2.
Yeah, that's probably it. They called it a project tray, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's perfect name for it.
So I had project trays, thanks to Uncle Jeff, put on the porch. Came during the night.
I noticed that when I was in Arizona visiting you, Amazon has the 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. delivery. We don't have that in Santa Cruz. We don't get that crazy early delivery. Hey, here's a question for you I've never seen asked before. Did Greg intend for the first and last sentences of 100 words to be self-accountable sections? I was looking at, I'm not even sure exactly what he means, but
yeah, I think that's straightforward and more than fair.
The self-accountable part is eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar.
Yeah.
And then the final line is keep workout short and intense, regularly learn and play new sports.
Yeah. Yeah. And thanks, Jake, for the question. And you know what? My academic variant would be recognized by all. Yeah, prepare for the unknown and the unknowable. What is that? It's a broad base of skills that find themselves eminently lendable to any likely occurrence or pursuit, huh?
I'm the dog that ate your birthday cake. Did you have a dog eat your birthday cake?
Yeah. My dog Blitzen with the candles lit. No fucking less.
Oh, I don't remember that story.
Yeah, my mom called everyone into the kitchen. Come on, we're gonna sing, and she lit the candles and was gathered. And everyone looked in there, and there was a pink box on the floor. The dog ate half of the cake and the lit candles. Like,
did you cry?
I loved it. I thought it was funny.
Sevi went from eating meat every day to beating his meat every day.
Hi, Jeremy.
I cannot confirm or deny. I'm loving the Trump stuff too. Just to go full circle, it's nonstop entertainment. What I'm curious though is what your thoughts on when he went up there and he said, do you think when Netanyahu came there, he was expecting Trump to say, "Hey, we're going to take Gaza"? I think he didn't know. I think Trump caught him off guard with that.
Well, this is in support of that potentiality. The discussion needs to be had is even remotely serious. And I don't know how to gauge the man from fuck yeah, he's committed to doing this and he sees the Trump hotels everywhere. And maybe Elon told him this is how you become the richest guy in the world. You build hotels in this fucking place.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
Yeah, I hope that's it. I like that telling better.
Right.
But it works just as well in the ripple effect. Be responding to this, and he's gonna decapitate the Department of Education while they're screaming about this one. It's great. His OODA loop is crushing the what I call it, fake indignation set.
The Dems.
Yeah.
AOC called Elon stupid.
I heard that, which is I love it from the hot bartender.
I did notice she looked like she's gone up a cup size. I wonder if she's been eating a lot of sugar. So here's my thought on it. Early on, when I met you in the first few years, I remember we were having a discussion about mandatory outfits for people who go to school. And I was surprised. You were like, yeah, there should be a dress code at school. The girls should have to wear this and the boys should have to wear this. I'm like, what are you thinking? What are you talking about? And you're like, hey, dude, would you rather be fighting with the kids? And sorry if I get this wrong. Would you rather be fighting with the girls as they adjust their skirt level, like above their knee to their knee, and like the fight's over like a half inch around the length of their skirt at their knee? Or would you rather be fighting with fucking kids bringing guns to school? He's like, either way, kids are going to push the limits. So let's set the place in a place that's like where we can have the fight. And it's like a cool place, a safe place to have the fight. And I remember thinking, holy fuck, that's genius. And you know what I mean? You make the boys wear blue cords, and next thing you know, they're wearing black cords. And you're like, you know, they're like, no, they're blue. And you have the fight there instead of like, you know, have flashing gang signs at school.
Yeah. School shooters like, fuck the dress shirt, and you throw them out, you know?
Yeah.
Early.
And I was like, wow, that is fucking brilliant. I love that. Do you think that whenever Trump does things, I always think that's the playbook he's working from. Like, hey, we're going to take Gaza, and then he gets pissed. People get pissed. So he just walks back a tiny bit. Okay, we're going to give it to 6 different countries. I mean, listen, if you give it to the 4 richest Arab nations in the world, all the other Arab nations are going to fall in line.
Dude, there's no one in the Middle East that hasn't put the safety on their guns.
You mean since Trump's been in power?
Figuratively, right now.
Yeah,
like, fuck. You just said he'd obliterate Iran. There'd be nothing left.
He left instructions.
Like, how's that for a message?
He repeated it again.
It needs to be, I wonder what the Arabic sounds like. I'd like to hear them. Wonder what he means. You dooms cultist pieces of shit. Will speed up the process. It's what needed to be said.
You know that
you know why? You know why? Because it's not far from what's needed to be done, and nobody wants that.
Right. You mean for us to obliterate Iran?
Yes.
Right.
You can play suck dick until we're all in totalitarian state. The left will lead that charge, by the way.
Peace and love until we're all just ruled by fucking
slaves.
All slaves.
Yep.
Caller, hi.
Hey, all public schools in Puerto Rico, they have dress codes, all uniforms.
In Puerto Rico?
And it works. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All public schools have uniforms, and it works. They've had it forever. Hey, Coach, I have a question. At this point in our government, do you engage your close friends who are Democrats with banter and, thinking about politics anymore? Just curious as to like what you're thinking that is, because it's, we kept for a long time. And then I feel like as though now we're really able to speak up our minds, even though I have done it already. But how do you feel about it? Do we really stick it to them, or do we just back off and say, oh, look at the board, we won, and take a back seat for 4 years?
I don't think I can counsel anyone to keep their mouth shut on this.
You don't think you can counsel anyone to keep their mouth shut? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I know what my liberal friends had in mind for me and all the rest of us.
Greg has a lot of
the left fed decency and all American values to the dogs, and you see it in women, in men and girls sports. I mean, that's a snapshot of the whole fucking thing. To running out of fire, to wonderfully diverse firefighters with no water. I get it what it looks like. An inflated commercial where you make a Super Bowl commercial complaining about not enough Doritos in your bag and blaming the fucking Dorito maker. You fucking half-wit. It's a stupid thing to air, and even stupider if you think it's true. Dangerously stupid. We just went through being there with Chauncey Gardner. Watch me. We just went through it. No, I'm more pissed. I'm pissed for the first time, I think.
Jethro.
I wasn't going down crying or whining. Now that what they had in mind for us has been delayed, I got a big mouth.
Excellent.
My sister-in-law that called me a racist wants to borrow my house. I'm not seeing that so much. It feels just like yesterday.
Oh my God. From the Floyd 19 tweet?
Yeah.
She doesn't even CrossFit. How the fuck would she know what that
Had
even
to
meant?
let the world know. This is the only thing she ever did that anyone heard anything about.
Hey, Jethro, I will say this. Greg has a lot of liberal friends, and he has a lot of liberal friends who respect him. And the other day, a very powerful lobbyist called Greg, who's as liberal as you can fucking get. I mean, like on every front, and was in a panic and came to Greg. They still respect Greg and came to Greg for some solace. And as you guys know, Greg, as strong as he is with his words, he also, like, you know, he can walk someone off the side of the cliff with baby steps. I mean, this guy's was ready to jump. And Greg doesn't push them off and be like, no, jump. You know, he is as fierce as Greg is. He is also as compassionate and forgiving. So I do enjoy it when Greg lops people's heads off, but there
Look,
are
I tell this guy, I go, pal, listen, I mean, let's don't even talk about get into any kind of debate. I asked my veterinarian, because he's a professional and his wife's a veterinarian. They have a thriving mobile service. I'm like, dude, what about the cost of meat? I just went and bought my carnivore gorgeous wife a few days worth of food, and it was $600 worth of steak in 2 bags. You know, like, how's this working for you? And I got 45 minutes of the, like, it sums to the 401k is now being subverted to other needs and cost to everything from gasoline to medicines to, it's like, he can't believe it. He's like, he's not buying meat. He's hunting more. And the people that were processing the hunted meat no longer can. So he's bought a grind. He can't afford it, because their costs all went up, their labor. They have the minimum wage law. And he's just like, he's giving me the whole story. And they're keeping the girl in private school, but how much longer, you know? And mom needs to probably work more, which means more babysitter time. And this is a 2-income, you know, they have a modest home in a California city, 2 professionals, and his life's been turned upside fucking down by bad governance.
and he's probably
we didn't even get around to who are you voting for. It became a stupid question. So my famous liberal lobbying friend, I asked, how many guys are there like that? How many guys like that, buddy? And he's like, maybe a lot. And I go, yeah, that's how I see it. And so then we had an election. Guess what? There were a lot. Stephen A. Smith said the Democrats are concerned about issues that not 1% of Americans are. I think that's true. I think if I have to compare putting food on the table to global warming and it's fucking cold outside, record cold, fuck you, fuck off, is my immediate instinctive responses to that. And then it becomes my intellectual one.
It's hard for me to reconcile because my son's best friend, the family's very liberal, and she's going on social media saying how all this corruption that's going to start and continue because of all the jobs being lost and unelected officials are now checking government waste. It's hard for me to hold my tongue because I know, like you said, Sevi, I can lop her head off in 3 minutes.
Right.
But I don't want to risk that relationship with my son and his friend. And, you know, we go to dance meets and it'll be super uncomfortable, but it's just so frustrating to have people who are so involved in my family's life to think this.
Jethro, you said it, and you're going to dance meets. This is the dance you have to do on the way to the dance meets. It is a dance. You can only give them so much reality. You get a toxic dose. Hey, I've had, look, I CrossFit cut its teeth in Santa Cruz clinically, and my client base was 85% fucking liberals, and I've had more than a few storm off, jump in the car, leave tires squealing to never come back ever again, but it turned out just for a few days. I know that reaction. I mean, I'm pretty good at pissing those people off. Hey, Rob Wolf complained about the American flags and all the guns on the walls. Rob fucking Wolf complained about that. He had someone from the SBA tell him CrossFit was no one going everywhere because Glassman was jingoistic. I had to look that shit up.
Yeah, I need to look that up too.
I had to look up jingoistic. I learned that word from Rob Wolf through the SBA.
You have extreme patriotism, especially
yeah,
in the
that's
form
me.
of aggressive warlike foreign policy.
When VRBO first came on the scene, we tried to get a house and we got one all lined up. And then the guy's like, "You're not taking my house." He was a professor at Harvard, and I was going to speak at Harvard. And he went to the website and saw all the guns. Okay, guns? There's no guns. I go, those are soldiers. Those are cops. We're not setting fires either. We got firemen.
Right.
Idiots is what they are. Idiots. And we have universities are run by idiots. Hey, the infection that is Marxism, collectivism, that has made a perverse and pointless fucking mess of so much of academia has a parallelism in the sciences. And it's a deductivist variant of science. It relies on frequentist inference and peer review. And it's produced a corpus of work that can't be trusted. And the problem with that is that science is the source and repository of man's objective knowledge, and ours is contaminated. And I have not the slightest idea of what a fix would look like. In fact, I would invest heavily against any fix. Just if it were just a matter of money. If there were a Vegas thing is like corruption in the health sciences comes to an end, put your money down, I'm voting against.
Oh.
I see no sign of it getting better.
Well, thanks for coming on every Wednesday, Coach, and thanks to Study for having you. Always look forward to the Wednesdays, and I think
I need to. I lose kind of a school day on this. If there were another time that worked as well that weren't in the morning, Sevy, I'd take that.
Like an evening show?
Yeah, or afternoon. I don't know. Is that dead time?
No. Well, I like the morning because there's less chance of like me doing something stupid and fucking up the show. But I could do an evening show.
Nah, I don't know if I'm any good at night.
We could do it earlier. I know the people on the East Coast would fucking love
Really?
it. Yeah, we could do an hour earlier. Yesterday with the guys in Israel, I did a show. Started the show at 6.
Yeah, you work. Figure that works for me. I'm up anyways.
It does. Okay, maybe we could go an hour.
9 a.m. Eastern time would be great because then we're all traveling to work. We could listen to it.
Yeah, the East Coast people would love it.
Well, let's try that, Seb. 6 a.m. for me.
Yeah, 6.
No, it's 7. My 7, your 6.
Yeah.
Jethro, thanks for what you do, man.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Abby.
I hope you have a good exit plan.
Oh, we will. I'll keep you posted. Thank you.
All right, sir. Bye.
All right, dude. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, good memory. Good memory.
Yeah, I want everyone to, like, when you hear about calories and junk food and highly processed foods and seed oils and pesticides, and just keep listening. That's the chorus that drowns out the sugar message.
Sean Lenderman, 6 for Sevy is 7 for Greg, is 8 for me, is 9 for callers. Yeah, I mean, very well said. Be the lyrics to a song, Sevon podcast song. Yeah, that's why, Pat. That's why I don't like doing evening shows because I never know. I guess it's. I never know what if I have a spicy margarita before the show. That's why I prefer day shows, morning shows.
Dude, I fully get that. It's like a job. You ever had a job that you didn't start till 3?
Oh, hey, when I was in college,
4 a.m. miserable.
Yeah. If I didn't have when I was in college, if my classes started anytime after 10, the chances of me going to them dropped like crazy. Chances of me going that I preferred a class to start at 7.
Oh, I remember that.
Because usually you've either been up all night or you just get coffee and go to school.
You know what always gave me A's, and it wouldn't matter where, like after a while, you couldn't get anything too challenging at that time. But summer session,
Yeah, in the morning.
I'm a straight A summer school student. 6 weeks.
Mm.
I could see the end from the beginning.
Like you could keep your resolve, but if the class was like 9 weeks, somewhere in the 5th week, you start partying, you get a girlfriend, and it's over.
Yes.
You and the girl in the front row of now not.
I could follow what was going on for 6 weeks without much difficulty at all, even though it was 3-4 hours at a time.
God, these glasses were hurting my head.
You should take a class with me sometime.
What class would we take?
It wouldn't matter. Will and John both say it's a tremendous experience.
I bet you we couldn't make it through a class without you getting in a fight with the teacher nowadays.
I've had to remind instructors that they were actually in our employ.
Yeah.
You see us differently, but you've got it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teresa, Sevan was supposed to give us his vitamin C recommendation. I'll ask my wife. What vitamin C do we? You know, there's two kinds. There's vitamin C. I guess they get the vitamin C direct, like they extract it from plants, as opposed to like create it, like whatever it is, ascorbic acid, whatever. Yeah. You think my wife? We get the kind that's like probably twice as expensive, but comes from plants. You think that matters?
Probably not. But I also know there's another one that's like it's lipid bound. I forget what they call it. We got some in the cupboard. And it was expensive. It's in capsules, which it gets hinky, right? Because someone could be making that in the kitchen.
Oh, do you know what it's called? How would I find it?
Liposomal.
Liposomal vitamin C. Caller, hi.
Dylan.
Hey.
Dylan Val.
Hey, Dylan. What's up, Dylan?
Hey, how you guys doing? Sorry, I'm at work. I just had to call in. Coach, how you doing?
Well, sir, thank you.
Every time you come on, you're like the, you know what? You're like the, how's the audio? Is it okay?
You're good.
I'm wearing headphones, so
you're
okay.
Great.
I'll try to be brief, but you know,
too
Greg,
late. You're
like the hot girlfriend, or you're the hottest girl in school. So like, frankly, how I think I probably speak for a lot of us when I say like, it's kind of nerve wracking to call in and talk to you, not only because I already feel like I don't have anything to say that's worthy of taking the time away from the episode. I don't want to take away any time for you to say something, you know, because we're all like just gripping at every minute, because you do impart such wisdom with your take on a multitude of different categories, which is something
that's kind.
And
I am here to talk
unique learning,
not to expound on anything, frankly. So thank you.
It's hard to approach you. You're the hot girl. You're the hot girl at high school. You know what I mean? But I would like to share a brief story. I had rhabdo a couple years ago. I was doing a Fantasyland, and I had to. Upon about a 24-hour period, I realized like my biceps were extraordinarily swollen and they weren't seemingly going down. So I had to go into my physician and basically tell them that I had rhabdo, and I was kind of fought off and damn near kicked out, and they told me I didn't, and I said, well, why don't we do some blood work and find out, because I'm telling you I do. And they were like, nah, you're fine. They were refusing me labs basically. I don't know why, but the doctor was basically just kind of like, why are you doing this? he looked what you could imagine he looked like. I mean, he was, I mean, it looked like he was hypertensive, and he weighed about 280 pounds and was probably 5'10", and about 50 years old. And proceeded to tell me I didn't have rhabdo. I try to stay very fit. I'm 30 years old. This happened when I was 27. I also do MMA. So I do CrossFit and MMA. So I stay very fit. I appear to be fit. And he said that I was exercising wrong. So he said I was doing too many pull-ups, and you know, hey, he might have had a point, but
that's the first time that guy was ever right about fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I overdid it a little bit, but you know, that wasn't the intention. It was just pushing the limitations a little bit. But anyway, he prescribed you know, about 10 pull-ups a day and about 20 push-ups a day, and that's about all you needed. And I thought it was very peculiar, but I had to go as far as threaten litigation to get blood work, because this was December 24th, and I didn't feel like dying on Christmas due to renal failure.
What year was this?
2 years, 2022.
Okay, so recently.
Wow.
And you know, of course, he kind of threw a fit and acted like it. You know, I was telling him I'm smarter than him, and I said, well, let's do blood work. Well, sure enough, December 25th, everything's closed, but I get an emergency phone call from the labs that say that my CK levels were over 67,000, and that I needed to rush to the emergency room ASAP. And I kind of chuckled and I said, "Okie dokie." And so I it was something I made happen, but it spent 3 days over that holiday in the hospital, flushing my system. And from my understanding, that the minimum required levels for that is 25,000.
Well, thank you for calling. Have a great day.
Thank you for sharing, man.
Oh, Dylan. Hello?
Yeah, 67,000.
I'd be brief, right?
Yeah, you lied. You lied on so many fronts. All right,
sorry.
I hope you're better. Love
All
you,
right.
dude. Do you want to say anything
All
about
right.
his CK
Love
levels? Could he have died, Greg?
That didn't look like it.
Okay. Did your penis swell at all? Has anyone ever gotten rhabdo in their penis? Listen, dude, if you're going to tell a story that's 4 minutes long and you don't got a penis injury, like, come on.
Oh, you're right. Good point.
All right. Thank you. Love you, buddy. Crimey. Someone made this for me and sent this to me. It's a mouse pad. And you rest your, it's one of the Icelandic girls.
Oh. I haven't seen her since your video.
Joe Esterlin, I got 1 F in high school, freshman biology at 2 p.m. I took it in the summer and 8 a.m. and got an A.
Yeah.
Hey, so here's the stuff that Greg, I think this is the stuff that Greg purchases. And then what's ironic is it's the stuff my wife gets on the same page. You're saying you get this stuff, this Dr. Mercola liposomol?
No, I don't get his.
Okay. And this vitamin code, and then this one, this Pure Radiance, are the ones my wife gets. Which one do you get?
Oh, I got. Oh, wait. I got that one. The
this?
Yeah.
180 tablets. Yeah.
This no, they were capsules. I could go look. Whatever. I grabbed it thinking, well, here's a load of bullshit. But maybe.
Yeah, this one right here, this Pure Radiance Vitamin C. I see this one on the counter all the time. And I see this one on the counter. Dr. Mercola is like is he somehow controversial, right? He got.
Yeah, I ran into some kind of problem with him that I hit the dismiss button or something.
Oh.
But he was more trouble than he was worth.
Dismiss.
And it might have been regarding Seafried, or I don't know. He was anti-CrossFit. there's a temperament. These guys that just keep talking and can explain everything, they're all full of shit. And what you find when you found someone who is really at the forefront of a field, is they're not likely to have a podcast. They don't have a following in any traditional sense. And if you ask a question worth asking, you're not going to get an instant, fast, staccato answer with a lot of words you've never heard before. But you're more likely to get, man, I don't know. That's a good question. I was thinking along the same lines of that kind of thing. And I'd suggest it's a difference between talking to a Thomas Seyfried versus who's my favorite one right now? Oh, I got on a Huberman kick, and it's just absolute, complete, and utter bullshit. You learn to keep your lip flapping and keep talking, and it's fun.
There's this cohort of people on Instagram and on podcasts, and they start everything with there was a meta study.
Oh, Jesus.
There was a meta study. I looked at the meta analysis. There's a huge group of them. Big group. Like they scout. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool because it's like their content machine, but they scatter. And what a meta study is when you take like 10 studies and mesh them together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they take like 10 studies and they mesh them together, and then they're like, so it actually does lower your heart rate, and if you walk your dog every single day. A meta study shows that walking your dog increases your life expectancy by 2 years. And
these people actually, honestly, have no idea what science is. You know that picture I have that the kid that Red Nile, kind of the AI image of the. I wish I were downstairs.
Can I find it on the internet?
I don't think so. I'll pull it up. Anyways, scientism, right? Pretending to be scientific.
Yeah. What do you think? Just off the top of your head, you see this red light therapy everywhere now?
Yeah, Maggie got one.
Did you make fun of her?
I said, you should turn our next door neighbor on this. And she told me about it. And I go, yeah, I get that. Because, they're getting on jets going to fucking faraway countries to get shit injected into them.
Do you even understand the premise behind it? Red light therapy? Have you looked into it? Or do you just be like, nope, that's not worth my time?
No, I'm huge.
Hello? Hi,
You're hugely what?
Skeptical.
Hi, caller. Hi.
Hi. I don't really listen to you guys, but my husband is a big fan, and I asked him, what does Greg say about eating beans or legumes? He said you should call and ask tomorrow. So here I am.
Beans and legumes. I think my mom eats beans and legumes.
Yeah, the objection to him is currently same thing.
Which is what? Inflammation, farting?
Yeah, I was wondering what we were worried about in particular. I presume to
I've
know.
heard things like that it causes inflammation or that it's like messes up your estrogen levels. But then I've heard, it's a great source of protein, and so just not sure if it's not really in the
fibrous protein. So I've got a blunted glucagon response, which makes it less than ideal. It's got a pretty good little host of amino acid profile, and the other theoretical objections I think have never been measured, but they differ in scale so much from other kinds of concerns with food that I just, we're way inside of food handling. I would think there'd be more to say about heating and refrigerating and reheating and eating beans, and foodborne illness might have a more significance to the bean than anything related to the to the molecular biology of it and hyper theoretical concerns about eating them.
Did you have you watched the entire show today by any chance, caller?
I wish. I'm actually at work.
Okay, if you
I didn't.
go back to 1935. The time code is at 19 minutes and 35 seconds. Greg explains that if you haven't completely cut sugar out of your diet and exercise regularly, that everything else is just nonsense. Nothing else can truly be measured if you haven't.
My bean avoiders are usually also concerned about nightshades, right? And so they don't like tomatoes. Does that work here?
Yeah, I've heard these things.
It seemed to be the nightshade people and the bean people seem to be similarly focused on the deleterious effects of some biochemistry that is I don't think anyone's ever measured. And I almost hate to do that. But I understand that the crowd that doesn't want to eat plants will do that for you nicely. I mean, it looks like the molecular biology of plants is their crazy mechanisms, detailed, involved mechanisms to keep you from eating them.
Hey, and I've also heard that like all the shit that people talk about eating tomatoes. I heard that if I saw this thing the other day, if you pick them off the vine and eat them like within 15 minutes, none of those tomato doesn't produce any of the shit that's bad for you. So if you have a tomato plant, you can stand by it and eat like 400 of them and you're good to go. That's what I do.
Interesting.
But supposedly it's like after you pick it, the plant sends out some sort of defense mechanism. And that's what I mean. So anyway, my 2 cents on meta studies. I hope that helps. Thank you. Tell your husband he's better than you are for listening to the show. Thank you. Bye. Okay. Let me call and say you don't listen to the show. Dylan. Hi, Dylan. Mr. Wynn. I heard that in philosophy of science, scientism is the view that only that which can be scientifically proven can be known.
I know of that variant of the definition for sure. For sure. We need a better word for things that pretend to be science, where you got the lab coat and the instrumentation and the computer printout and the models and everything, but if predicted nothing of consequence. It's a tough one.
Okay, this is my kind of question. Well, Mr. Chapman, why do potatoes hurt my arsehole? He's English. When I have them, am I putting them in wrong?
Yep.
Don't you love it when people have they can fix their own problems? That's awesome. Jake, try something new. I like that, and then get back to us on that. That's solid.
Yeah, try mashed potatoes.
And a turkey baster.
See if that doesn't make you happier.
Have you tried butter?
And then we've done a scientific experiment where we've shown that mashed potatoes can make you happy.
Do you know the movie Last Tango in Paris with Marlon Brando?
I've not seen it, but I know of it.
I saw it when I was, I don't know, like 15 years old, like on VHS or something. I couldn't believe one of the fucking scenes in there. He's got this woman tied up in a bathroom, and he tells her to bring me the butter. Bring me the butter. And he's gonna have sex with her, and he tells her to go get the butter. I'm like, what? I was 15. I was like, wow. I never tried that. Never took lead on Brando for that. It's the craziest scene. Half the movie's in French and half's in English. So like some of it's subtitled and some of it's not. On that definition, Daniel, hi. On that definition, scientism is self-refuting, since the idea that you can only know what you can prove scientifically can't be proven scientifically.
Yeah, that's a Kamala Harris must have helped you with that one, Daniel. But listen, let me help you with this. If anyone's talking about proof and science in the same paragraph, they probably don't know what proof is or science. But there is no proof in science. Science doesn't do proof. Science doesn't prove anything.
What does it do?
It builds models that find validation to their predictive value.
Builds models that find validation.
Yeah, and those models are the silos in which you find source and repository of man's objective knowledge. It's one of the crowning achievements of Western Civ. We enjoy the fruits of it on a constant basis, from an increased life expectancy to high literacy to safety and security, health, information, hygiene, all of it. At the heart of it, what's happened is that as a civilization, as a culture, in the words of David Stove, we've learned how to learn. And it's a very rare thing. We haven't found it in cultures wildly divergent from ours. Stove gives actual examples of places where it wasn't found, where they haven't learned to learn. I'll leave that to your listeners to find. And start 7 different wars with that alone.
It's a great line.
But we don't prove in science. Proof is you find it in logic and in math, and it's we find it in courts too, but it's abused there too. They also don't know what it means, but use it freely. And there's some fascinating literature in the field of analytical jurisprudence around exactly that and the complications. Dale Cern is bright on this, on what's implied from proof. But he's my buddy in this whole plausible reasoning. It's one of my allies and one of the people that talks to me on this stuff regularly. It's a fun space, but academically science is seriously damaged. And I don't mean chemistry, physics, math, biology exactly, not the natural sciences, but primary research. And none of that would matter whether gender studies and psychology and sociology and econometrics were producing bullshit science would probably not matter much to anyone. But it's a infection of the health sciences has been perfect, like just wild. Like if you wondered if blondes with big tits could get gonorrhea, the answer is yes. Like holy cow, did they get it bad? In fact, the in academia, the first, loudest, most intelligent voices as to what's gone wrong in psychology happened from psychologists as the infection left psychology and hit medicine. Gerd Gigerenzer, one of my heroes, one of my intellectual heroes, has talked about this for 30 years. About the infection created from psychology departments and what it's done to medicine. He's got proof. In fact, proof, this very idea of science proving things is part of this problem, is part of the epistemic debasement of science that is the hallmark of academic failed science. Failed and failing. Failed and getting worse. It creates the perfect environment for corruption too. The perfect environment for corruption, the epistemic debasement. That is where validation comes from not from predictive strength of models, but from frequentist inference, p-value and null hypothesis significance testing, and a peer review.
By the way, this guy's books when he came and spoke at your house, I can't remember which book I got, but I got one of these books on audio, and I listened to it in the 13-hour drive to your house. Maybe it was Smart Management. I can't remember. But he's totally approachable.
Yeah, I'm talking about going to the peer review literature of GERDs and not the popular books so much.
Right. I don't think
that Empire of Chance is far from pop. But it's mindless statistics. Throw that into Google. I mean, you can print it right now, and it's 15 pages and known by all, ignored by most. But you can't pay attention to GERD Gigerenzer and also think anything other than academic public health sciences. Yeah, that.
Is this how you came across him? Is this the first thing you read from him?
What was that?
Is this the first thing you read from him? Is this how you crossed paths with him with this paper?
Yeah, in fact, there's 3 papers of his that I kind of drug all over the world with me. The most recent one is on replication delusions. His 3 papers are must read. By the time you've plowed through one of them, and it takes a while, it's a bit of a chew. The second comes easy, and the third, you kind of feel like you could have written it yourself. But he's been so constant and so brilliant, and it's such a compelling case for what's wrong. And he's not the only. I mean, there's a lot of them. The dude Balkan from Intel has written brilliantly on this too.
I agree with you on proof, Greg. Hard to be precise in super chat. Thank you, Daniel.
I did that.
Graciano Rubio, humans on average have 1 testicle. All right, thank you.
That's a good point.
All right.
All right.
We did it.
I'm getting a notification from Chrome, turn on reactions.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, and it's a window I can't shut.
Do you see a camera in the upper right-hand corner on the very, very top of your screen? It's like a green.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that if your reactions ever go on, the reactions are like when you do thumbs up, it does bubbles and all that shit.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, you won't like that.
How do I turn that green camera off?
You click on it, and then there's options, and you want to turn all of them off. Like, look, if I turn on reactions, I just turned on my reactions. Oh,
mine are all turned off.
Oh, okay, then you're good.
But I can't make it.
Oh, see, like I clicked one and gave me a rainy day.
That's great.
Yeah. Firework. Yeah. But you can make it so it's yeah, I don't know how you make that thing go away, but you can make it so it's hand controlled and it gets really annoying.
Got it.
Pat Lang with we'll leave with some wisdom. 22 million people have a birthday every day. Yours is not important.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, Greg. Thanks. I'll chat.
Right.
Hey, well, let me ask you this: what are you doing today? Are you busy?
You know, I'm doing something with my neighbor later today.
Oh, like fun, like going to lunch, or like
he wants me to meet someone. So.
Okay. Nothing like building a fence or burying a body.
No.
Okay.
All right, sir.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Greg, what did you like more about programming, the science or the art? Well, let me answer that for you. I'm going to call one of my friends really quick. Ask him. That was a good show. He came on in a good mood today, I thought.
Hello.
Hey, dude. Hey, could you do me a
Who is
favor?
this?
Sevon Matosian.
Oh,
Hey, could you do me a favor?
depends on the favor.
Could you make sure that whatever Taylor comes up with for Kill Taylor tomorrow, that no one can beat him? Because it's $2,500 and I'd like to see it go high. Can you guide him with your infinite wisdom?
Oh, now you want my wisdom?
I've always wanted it, my brother.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
It's JR and witness protection. Oh my goodness. God, I felt my back tighten up. I love JR's voice. Yeah, who doesn't? Get all fucking drooly and shit. All right. Yeah, I felt tension in the air too. That was crazy. Maybe I was making fun of him the other day on the show. Maybe it stuck with him a little bit. We were making fun of how he doesn't talk much. I had a great line about how it took him a week to ask his wife to marry him. I thought that bit was funny as shit. Too. All right. Oh, I live in a weird world with weird people. My friends are weird. I got weird friends. I wouldn't have it any other way. God, what did I see? I saw something absolutely fucking. I saw something absolutely fucking bizarre. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Oh, I haven't seen this. I saw that Annie made a post that said for moral reasons she's not doing the open, and I was like, I don't even know what that fucking means. Please tell me she's not stupid. I've never thought of Annie as stupid, but whatever she wrote was so stupid. But I keep forgetting that these are Black Square Mafia people. I guess 45 seconds ago. This is crazy. 45 seconds ago, she posted this. So she made a post that someone sent me a screenshot of it. I don't see it on there. And it basically said, I'm not doing the open for moral reasons. And I was like, when do these people stop being woke morons? She cannot fucking, after the whole Black Square incident, she can't possibly still be so stupid. And by that, I mean, like, it's so vague. No one could possibly know what you mean without not stupid, but she's retarded. How could I not how could you not know that when you say something with no substance that all you're going to get is 10,000 people making up their own decision, their own explanation? So like if you say, hey, I'm not going to the party because I'm sick. Okay, so people will be like, does she have the flu? Does she have the cold? Is she having a herpes outbreak? There's like a small like a window of like things people will fill in with you're sick, right? Every time you're not specific, that's what the human brain does. So when you say you're not doing the open for moral reasons, it's like we probably can't even define what fucking moral is, let alone the 35,000 reasons people are going to come up with. But unfortunately, and I know this is my thinking, my thought is first Greg posted Floyd 19, which was to defend black people, and yet she came out with the Black Square thinking it was attacking black people, and she still has never apologized to this date as far as I know. And so we know that anytime anything and she says all the time, CrossFit's given me so much, it's who I am, it's my life, it's given me so much. And yet the second there was a bump, she abandoned it. Like it reminds me like I wonder if Frederick like had his pinky chopped off in like a wood shop accident, would she just divorce him? Is that what she does? She just fucking runs every time there's a fucking problem? Like and now it's the second time. Her fucking beloved gift that is CrossFit, that her words, not mine, has given her so much and so much and so much, and I love it. And fucking an athlete dies at the games and now she's running again. It's like, dude, how about trying something new? How about like, how about instead of going to your morals, you go to your values? What are your values? Every time something gets hard, you run away, intellectually hard. Maybe she is retarded. I don't know. But let's hear what she says. She writes, with just a part shared, it's easy to take things out of context. No one took anything out of context. You didn't give us any context, retard. And I want to give my own explanation on why I'm not doing the open this year. I mean, you could have just said nothing. I will always be part of the CrossFit community and judge no one for the decisions they make. This is just my decision.
I have been a part of the CrossFit Open since the first time it started. And this will be the first time I will not be partaking in the CrossFit Open in the season. This decision has been weighing very heavy on me. And I want to explain why I came to this decision. Last year, a fellow competitor and athlete lost his life during the CrossFit Games during an event. I realized that accidents can happen.
Say his name. Lazar Jukic. Lazar Jukic. Lost his life. I realize accidents can happen. By the way, I appreciate this. I want to give Annie a point. I mean, it's retarded that she didn't say his name, Lazar Jukic. She says a fellow competitor, but this is more already. She's exceeded my expectations, if I'm going to be honest.
But
you can't hear her. Maybe I don't know. It's her volume's really low. That's not my fault. Let me see. I'll turn up all the volumes. Here we go.
we need to be doing everything we can and should be doing everything we can to try to prevent them and and have the right safety protocols in place. It's really hard for me to believe that was in place with everything that went down.
So now she's dipped into vagaries, right? Now it's like, hey, he died. There needs to be great safety protocols in place so it doesn't happen. I do realize it was an accident, but it's hard for me to believe that every safety protocol was in place. So now we're just in abstraction. She doesn't even. I bet you herself she hasn't gone deeper than that. Then there should have been a lifeguard for every single athlete. I bet you she hasn't given it much thought at all.
It is not just how this happened, but it's also the following events and months that made me come to this conclusion.
Well, I'll tell you how it happened, since you probably don't know. The best swimmer out of all of you who thought he was going to win the event had some sort of, what I would guess, cardiac event just shy of the finish line and drowned. Like 99% of all professional athletes who've ever drowned, that's what's happened to them. And the other 1% were shark attacks. And we know that there was no shark in that. I'm willing to bet 2 inches of my cock that it was not a shark attack. So like you claim to be having all this profound logic and understanding and thoughtfulness, and yet you know that there was no fucking way he just fucking drowned like a fucking 1-year-old in a pool.
I feel like we really need to have more transparency and understand.
Here we go to the woke words.
And there needs to be some sort of accountability for what went down.
I would love to know what that means. Just say it then. I mean, you already signed the letter that Dave should be fired. What does that look like? More transparency, more accountability. Why don't you call the doctor that did the autopsy, Annie, and like really dig into it? You have a fucking house and a husband you take care of and a fucking baby and fucking a gym, and you got it all from this fucking this ecosystem that you call CrossFit. The first event that you did was at fucking Dave's house. and there's a bump and you fucking turn on him and ask for him to be fired, you are a fucking bitch. Sorry, you are. You're a bitch.
I have competed multiple years at the CrossFit Games, and many times I have been terrified. We are pushing ourselves to the limit.
Name one. Name one. Name one. Of course, you're pushing yourself to the limit. In the first games that in the year before that you compete in the games, I made a documentary where the guy said, hey, people could die doing this.
And we are pushing ourselves so far. But every time I'm under the belief that I will be saved. And I have told myself I will not die. I feel like we need more changes going forward and knowing what is going to happen. We're getting an athlete council, but also last time we really wanted to change and fought for it was 2020. We got an athlete council and that disappeared. We're getting.
I agree with you on that. The athlete council will do nothing. Nothing will do anything. The only way you can truly support this is if you would have gotten behind Dave and gotten behind CrossFit and support them instead of turn on them. Now you're going to turn on them again when things get tough, and you're just going to make it harder and worse and less chance for change. And you've shown your true colors, and you fucking tainted your reputation, and you fucking shit in the kitchen. And you flush down your entire fucking reputation because instead of showing that you're fucking someone who really wants change, it's all about you and abstractions. And if you don't think that you're going to compete at the highest level to be the fittest person in the world, or you're not going to go through your fucking 18 to 30 years old and have fears of death when fucking every Tom, Dick, and Harry, that's part of fucking growing up, goes through, then you're a fucking retard. And to blame it and say that you want transparency and change, but not give any specific things and then rely on a fucking council or some shit like that, you're a fucking socialist cuck. It's pathetic, Annie. Time to fucking grow up, man. You want to fucking compete at this highest level and get accolades for doing the highest fucking things, going up in the fucking space shuttle to fucking travel to the moon or to Mars, fucking the risk of death fucking increases. And when there's a fucking accident and shit gets hard and you run over to your fucking bitch ass friends like Fikowski and shit, I mean, it's pathetic. You should have stayed close. You should have stayed close. You got a whole life of probably fucking turning on people and not trusting people. You probably have crazy trust issues. Now invite her on the show. Thank you, Slater. Not a bad idea.
A safety board, but it's internal, and in my opinion, it needs to be external. However, I really respect a lot of the people that are on that board.
Well, why aren't you doing the open? That's the part I don't understand. Why aren't you doing the open? Get to that part.
And I hope it is going to make a difference. I do not judge anyone that decides to do the open and be a part of the season.
I want to be very clear to you. I don't judge you at all either for fucking being a fucking sellout, a scaredy cat, someone who doesn't have loyalty, someone who takes and doesn't give, someone who fucking this is the second time you fucking gone black square and had something completely wrong. I don't judge you at all for it either. Just so you know, I don't whatever. You do you. I don't care that you're retarded. I mean, I don't like you less because you're retarded.
I have been a part of the CrossFit community since I was 19 years old, my whole adulthood.
Take.
And I will always be a part of the CrossFit community.
No, you won't. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
I will still be doing the open workouts, and I will still be.
Oh, that warms my heart. You're still going to do the open workout. Fuck up.
Supporting the athletes at my gym and the community at my gym. I will just not be supporting CrossFit HQ. And I really, really hope and believe the sport can be better and we can do better for the up and coming athletes. And that is why I made the decision I made.
Better than you did, huh? So she says nothing. The only thing that she fucking acknowledges is that someone died. She almost said his name, man. She almost said his name. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it fucking crazy? I was watching my 8-year-old do jiu-jitsu yesterday, and he had just rolled and he stood up, and I saw him like adjusting his nuts. I'd never seen that, and I thought that was like a passage of manhood. You know, what made me think of that is I just adjusted my nuts. I was like, oh shit, he adjusted his nuts. I got the next Rich Froning. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, JR totally supports Annie. JR Howell's fucking so on Annie's fucking dick. JR loves that shit. JR loves that shit. JR got a fucking Lazar Jukic. Actually, I don't have a problem with that. JR got an Annie Thorsdottir jersey hanging in his fucking gym, CrossFit Crash. Come on, Annie. Fucking A, man. Hey, has even one athlete imagine if she'd been like, hey man, the CrossFit games are fucking hard. And I've been scared before if I'm gonna die. And it's part of the sport. And like I knew that it was my fucking responsibility. I knew that running I know that if I'm gonna compete against the best in the world, there's gonna be some heat, there's gonna be some pushing myself to my outer limits. I saw every second counts. I saw the part where Dutch Lowy says you can push yourself so hard that you can pass out. And it's kind of amazing that we have these type A people that push themselves so fucking hard, and we're 18 years into the sport and no one has actually died, especially with the mass deployment of vaccines and just all the shit going on with people and all the massive doses of caffeine they take and all that shit. I'm surprised someone's ticker hasn't fucking gone out already. I mean, shit, look at all the other sports, Ironman, biking, all that shit. We have fucking heart attacks and weird shit happen all the time. And I'm fucking devastated that Lazar Jukic died. Fucking coolest dude ever from Europe. He's the complete opposite of the fucking Nordic countries. Lazar had a personality and a warm heart. He wasn't a fucking autistic, inbred fucking moron like the rest of us fucking idiots up here in the North. And so for him to die, it seems totally out of fairness. But we must go on. We must know that I've been with Dave fucking in the crew a long fucking time. We've been through some hard things. I'm glad that I'm close to him and I've been around so long and that I have his ear. And I'm concerned, obviously for Dave, this can't be easy on him, but I'm going to do my best with my proximity to him to continue to support CrossFit and to share any ideas you guys have. I know there's an athlete council, but I'm fucking, I'm the Icelandic queen, and people respect me, and I'm nice, and I can traverse all the different territories, and I'll talk to them, and I'll be eyes and ears for you guys, especially as I head into retirement. But I just want you to know this isn't a time to like hate and spew hate. This is a time that we can actually come closer together and make this things better. But you can't do that because you're a selfish, dumb bitch. No judgment, of course. No judgment, of course. Sevon, your take is 100% friend based. You don't give a fuck about HU. Come on, dude. You totally missed the point, dude. You totally fucking missed the point. Why do you always do that? You shift the point. Let me give you another example. Luka Jukic, Lazar's brother, has 100,000 followers on Instagram, 101,000 followers. This take is not going to be for the light of heart. So brace yourself. This is not, if you have a sensitive stomach, or if you have a more libtard than I have in me, you're not going to like this one. Luka Jukic has 100,000 followers. Let me do the math real quick. 98,000. Hold on. 98,347 of them follow him because his brother died. Think of the position that puts him in. So at that point, Luca has a choice, right? He's really fucking angry. He's really fucking pissed, right? And what can he do? What can he do? He ends up making posts saying, really emotional posts saying stuff like, my brother loved a sport that didn't love me back. I mean, that's like, that's if I told you that my tree didn't love me in my backyard, you'd think I was crazy. But at least my tree's a fucking adamant object and it is something, right? We'd all agree it's alive. This fucking guy is so fucking out there in the fucking deep end that he thinks that CrossFit didn't love him. CrossFit doesn't love anybody. The fucking word, it's an abstraction. It's a concept. It's a idea. Like fucking nothing. And so he's got so he's rallied all these people around him who support his fucking insanity. Now, and this is where you're going, Pat, and that's cool and that's fine, but that it's his choice. Does anyone think that there's healing going that direction with anger and frustration and an abstraction saying CrossFit didn't love me? Does anyone think that there's like does that road come to an end and he ever heals? It does not. You don't give a fuck about Luca. You're following Luca, and through the pressure of following him, you want him to be a social justice warrior for some fucking abstraction. What if Luca would have fucking taken that pain and come closer, gone the other way with it? I'm not saying it's easy. He could have had people who sincerely like him, who sincerely appreciate the value he brings to society, to life, and rallied around some sort of fitness movement. Maybe it could have been High Rocks, maybe it could have been CrossFit, maybe it could have been something. But instead, he's forever branded as the guy who fucking lost his brother, who got angry. Instead of, hey, this fucking sucks and I'm not going to let my brother die in vain. And I'm going to rally this space to do the right thing. I'm going to work closer with CrossFit or whatever. And I'm gonna make it so it's a memorable thing. There could have been a fucking Lazar fucking workout every games. There could have been a Lazar scholarship. There could have been all this fucking cool shit. Hey, once again, you're as dumb as fucking Pat Lang, Mr. Dragon. You're saying you would do the same if it was in your brother, sister. I'm not saying that at fucking all. I'm telling you the fucking truth about fucking how healing and how fucking works. I'm talking about how the truth about how healing works, the process of healing. You see, I'm not saying I'm not judging Annie for being a selfish bitch or for Luca being selfish throughout all this pain. I'm not doing that. I'm just telling you there's never healing that way. It's retard world. There's no wisdom there. These are fucking just morons. These are people. Just imagine how selfish all of these fucking athletes are. Just, I don't mean that with judgment or in a negative way, but just inherently in what they're doing. And then, so just imagine the actions that come out of them or the way they express themselves. Hey, dude, I just want you to know there's 100 of Annie's closest friends who are listening to me right now who are like, yeah, I really like Annie, but he's fucking spot on. Her 100 closest friends. I think when you say Luca knew the risks, I think you meant Lazar knew the risks. Yeah, they all fucking know the risks. That's another good point, Sean. Annie knows the fucking risks. She's known the risks for 18 years. Why didn't she say anything? Why didn't she do a podcast of fucking the dangers of being a professional athlete? That'd have been a great one. Hey, dude, you can die doing the fucking CrossFit Games. The chances of dying doing the CrossFit Games, I think, are higher than going shopping for a gallon of milk. These people, in summation, my closing paragraph in conclusion, these people aren't vectors of healing or closure or improvement. They're not any of that. I'm not saying I would have made the right decision. I'm not saying fucking Annie's did. I'm not judging Annie or Luca for it or for his anger. Fuck, dude, if one of my kids died, I'd fucking burn the earth down. I could give two fucks. I get it. Barry McCockner, what's going on with JR? He's at home. He's at your mom's house, fucking balls deep, prolapsing her anus right now, Barry. The fuck you think's going on with him? Pat, you don't even know what you're talking about. Taylor Self said on your show that those people on the refs paid no attention to the guy going under. Nobody was held accountable. What do you want, dude? What the fuck do you want, you dipshit? What do you fucking want the person? So you want us to get the person who was on the board and fucking tie him out in the fucking center of the games next year and we can all beat them? You want to know that they were fucking fired? You want to know that they're fucking miserable and they killed themselves already? What the fuck do you know? When you say accountable, use a fucking word that's not a fucking woke word. What do you want? Mr. Lang, I don't want anything, Sevon. Settle down. But you can't understand why people are mad. You're just being ignorant. Hey, I'm fucking completely understand why they're mad. I'm just telling you the truth around it. I completely understand why they're mad. It'd fucking be devastating. His fucking best friend and his fucking brother died. I get it. But to take fucking advice from this fucking simpleton or any validity. I mean, she doesn't even believe the own shit. She doesn't. You would have, if you think that Annie believes any of the shit that's coming out of her mouth, you're fucking retarded. She's completely fucking lost. She's an emotional, selfish train wreck. She has no fucking clue what the fuck's going on in between her own ears or anywhere. Mr. Lang, well, then shut the fuck up about it and admit your boy Dave is why you're so pro CrossFit about this. Pat, I've told you guys a fucking million times my stance on Dave. Every fucking chance I get. I don't know why, like, you bring it up like you fucking invented it. I don't ever call you fat because you've already admitted you're fat. She doesn't believe it because she still pays her affiliate fee. Yeah, fucking de-affiliate already. Hey, and here's the thing. The fact that she had the fact that she thinks she has to announce why she's doing the open or not, she's as dumb as fucking John Woolley. Like, no one gives a fuck, dude. Just because fucking 50 people are in your DMs asking, no one really cares. And even if someone does care, that doesn't mean you have to care. Just keep your fucking mouth shut. All right. In summation, Sarah Sigmund's daughter is the best of the doters. And you can die from pushing yourself to your outer limits. Oh, Juan Guerrero from Mexico. Hey, Simon, do you think you are being emotional, just passionate about the topic, not good or wrong answers? I don't know. I have to. I don't know. Sorry, I have to put these glasses back on. Answer. Listen. I have to be so fake to get frustrated about any of this because in 2 minutes I'm going to get off the air and I'm going to go into my house. Well, first I'm going to walk outside and I'm going to, like, I wish you could see how beautiful it is at my fucking house. It just rained. My backyard is complete chaos. I have 100 fruit trees. There's grass growing everywhere and buds everywhere. I have a passion fruit that's draped over my office door that gives 1,000. It's the biggest passion fruit vine you've seen if you live in North America. Then I'm gonna look at all that. I'm gonna take in a deep breath. I'm gonna, like, see my wife in the kitchen with her fucking spaghetti strap bra on and her fucking, like, little titties and her nipples. Then I'm gonna walk into my jiu-jitsu room. And there's going to be fucking Nico, the greatest fucking jiu-jitsu teacher the world's ever seen, with 3 of my boys who are, and they're going to go hiding. And so any excitement I get over Annie is like, or you or or anything in here is like, it's completely manufactured. Call me fake. I don't give a fuck. Doesn't matter. Because like my depth of my enjoyment of watching my son yesterday adjust his dick for the first time after a jiu-jitsu match, I was like, that's where I'm at in my life. I'm like, wow. Turned a fucking man, 8 years old. I saw him like peel his nuts off his leg. That's where I'm at. Does that make sense? So I don't think I'm passionate or emotional. I'm just fake. Go with that. Mr. Chapman, the potato is really starting to hurt. I like Craig's option. Sevan, do you still talk to Ariel and Dylan? No, I don't. I never talked to them before. I would talk to them. I like both of them. I like Annie. I like all these people. They probably here's the thing. The level, I like all these people. I'm trying to think if there's anyone like I really don't like. Like I don't care. Like here's the thing. The most significant thing, like, okay, so here's one thing that's real. I don't like it that Annie and Fikowski and Fee Sagafi and Royce Dunce and some lesbian looking girl and then some other fat girl put out a letter saying that they wanted my friend Dave to be fired. Like I don't like that. And so it's easy for me to just like be like, fuck you guys. You know what I mean? But like I'm not worried about any of it. Like even I'm so much more excited that I saw my son adjust his nuts for the first time after a jiu-jitsu match. Like, you know what I mean? Sevan, do you live from your backyard so we can also enjoy the beauty? Oh, can you go live? Yeah. The internet's really fucking bad back there. I can make a video and post it. I know. I love it. I think we should that's been my stance for 6 months. They need to just move all those people out of Gaza. I don't care how much money they give them. Make them all millionaires, whatever. All right. Love you guys. Thank you, Annie, for the content. Thank you, Jared Howell, for a guest appearance. Thank you, Greg. And for those of you who are younger who maybe don't know, there's a depth that comes to your life where see you, boo. Thanks, Pat. Love you. Yeah, I'm fucking working out today. I'm getting my shit back in line because I was slacking for a month. For a month, all I had was 25-pound dumbbells and a heavy rope. Yesterday, I came home and my workout, my first, I did something really easy my first day home. Yesterday, I did 250 meters on the rower, 15 push-ups for 10 rounds as fast as I could. That fucking broke me off. Oh, the day before I did a bunch of heavy deadlifts. That was kind of easy. I did my first day back when I drove home, I did 5 deadlifts at 225 for 5 rounds, just resting. That was fucking hard for me. I did them all unbroken, but that was hard. And then I did 5 chest to bar pull-ups on the minute for 10 minutes. And then yesterday I did the rowing and the push-ups. Today I think I'm gonna have to do something like really fucking hard. I don't know what, but like something like make me want to throw up. Hiller has a great workout for you today. All right, maybe he'll send it. All right, love you guys. Bye-bye.